Well, now I know what Bruce Campbell sounds like in Japanese. Hey everyone, it's me, Aaron.
I'm Michelle.
And this is Thorgiween, where we're watching a horror film every single day and all month long of October. And we are coming up towards the end of another theme week. It's been Schlocktober week, where every single movie we have watched qualifies as schlock. And if you have not been watching so far this week, we're not saying schlock in a negative term. Nope, it is completely out of love. But there are definitely 4 key elements that identify schlock. 1, low budget. This one definitely checks that off. Number 2, it has to be trying for more than its budget allows. It has to be reaching beyond what its means are. And this one, again, definitely checks that off. And going along with that, not a full rule, but also going beyond that, there has to be some passion behind it. And again, this one definitely checks that off. Number 3, there has to be a sense of humor to it. Sometimes intentional, sometimes unintentional. And the last rule is that it has to be trying to shock the audience. Not just have something in there that's like, oh, that was a really daring, scary moment in there. And oh, that kill that Michael Myers did was horrible. No, it has to be a what the fuck moment. And yeah, I think this film absolutely qualifies.
Yeah, there are definitely a lot of what the fuck moments in this one.
Yes, and sometimes they're tied to the sense of humor. So you know what? Oh boy, today we were reviewing a film that I saw pop up on Shudder a couple months ago, and it has been on my watch list ever since then from the name alone. I knew nothing about this film, but I saw the name and I was like, well, I have to watch that. And as time has gone on, I've learned this is like a cult classic within the cult classic sphere. Like, it's not well known enough to be a cult classic, but if you go within the cult classic group and then you go even further inside of that, like to a smaller group.
Like Inceptions of...
Yes, it is the cult classic film for cult classic fans. Like, you need to be in the know to find this, but if you're in the know, there's people out there who love this. The film we were watching is Bloody Muscle Bodybuilders in Hell. This is a Japanese film from 1995, I believe it was, which does not feel like a 90s film. This feels like it's the 80s. Holy cow. But there's a reason for that. This film, I mentioned, schlock films need some passion behind it. This movie was made by somebody who absolutely loved crazy American horror films, especially the Evil Dead franchise, and I have come to learn this film is actually referred to by fans as Japanese Evil Dead. And oh my god, does it qualify for that? So, this film, it starts off with a man brutally attacking a woman, and it's clear that the woman is in love with the man, but he is now getting married to someone else, and she's like, no, you said you'd be with me forever, and he is fighting her off and then kills her and buries her under the floorboards of this house. We then cut to the present, and then we get our protagonist, whose name I don't remember. I think it's Shinji, but I only think that because it's the only name that IMDb has for anyone on this cast.
I thought Shinji was the name of the other guy.
That's what I thought too, which means that they're not even listing the credits of the protagonist on here.
So, okay, so we have main guy, main girl, and Shinji, right?
We'll just say second guy.
Second guy.
This is what we'll say. Bodybuilder, photographer, and psychic. That's it. That's the 3 characters you need to know. So we then come to our bodybuilder protagonist, and he's pumping iron, and then he gets dressed, and he goes to meet, I don't know if they're like ex-boyfriend, girlfriend, or current boyfriend, girlfriend. I couldn't really get the full sense of that, but there was some romantic something there. But he goes and he meets her, and she is a photographer, and he's talking to her about like, oh, okay, so have you been photographing any spirit stuff? So it's implied that that's what she wants to do, or it's like a job that she's had before. But he's like, nah, I've mostly been doing like weddings and stuff. But I did get these photos here, and she shows them to the bodybuilder guy, and he looks at them, and the first one is the house that we were looking at, and the door is open, and you just see a giant face inside looking out. And then he goes to the next photo, and it's his dad and another woman, and his dad was the man that we saw in the beginning of this, and the woman was the person that he was attacking. He goes, oh, okay, so this is where my dad used to live. Okay, so you want me to come along with you to investigate this spot. So they're then going to the house that his dad used to have.
Yeah, and they bring along their psychic friend.
Yes. Or the psychic hired them to go and investigate this. I don't
know. No, I don't know. They just...
They're there.
Yeah.
We don't really know the relations of any of these folks.
We just need someone to, like, explain some paranormal shit that's going on.
And also, not really important.
No?
If this is one of those films where if I knew the backstory of these characters, would not change my enjoyment of this film. It is so not the point. Listen, there are some films in there where it's like, man, I don't know anything about any of the characters in here, and that's taken away from my enjoyment in here. That's not what's important about this film. Like, if you're going into bloody muscle bodybuilders from hell, and you're like, I need to know the subtext between these characters, like, nah.
The fact that you can say that title, like, memorize it and say it without messing it up is very impressive.
I'm shocked myself. You've been watching this all month long. You know how much I jumble up words. Yeah, I'm amazed at myself. Anyway, so they get there, and they start investigating, and the psychic's like, okay, I'm definitely sensing something in here. I'm going to try and communicate with the spirit. And of course it goes wrong. And he ends up getting possessed. And then the rest of the film is just the psychic, now possessed, trying to beat the crap out of the other two of them, and the two of them beating the crap out of him. And then it just goes full Evil Dead. Evil Dead 1 and Evil Dead 2. And I bet if they had the budget, they would have tried to send our protagonist bodybuilder back in time at the end of this to get some little Army of Darkness in there.
Like feudal Japan or something.
That would actually be awesome, yeah. Evil Dead and feudal Japan, I'd watch that. I know there's one of the video games that actually ends with that. It never follows up on it, but that's like the teaser they put at one of the video games. But yeah, so this thing... We mentioned that the rules of schlock, it's got to be cheap. I know I started off this week by saying it doesn't have to be cheap, but it can't be high budget. The more of these films we've been watching, like, nah, it's got to be cheap. It's got to be like, the only reason why I said that is because at one point I was like, we might watch Slither this week, and Slither had a decent budget. But that film also qualifies as schlock. The more of these I walk, it's just like, nah, you gotta feel cheap. Mm-hmm. You gotta be able to feel...
You gotta feel the cheapness.
Yes.
Just like you gotta feel the cheesiness.
Yes,
like,
exactly. You have to go into this thing like, man, you guys didn't have anything, and you tried, and I respect the hell out of it.
Cheap, cheesy, like, nachos... Taco Bell nachos or something.
I was going to say movie theater nachos, which feels appropriate for schlock films, yeah. We keep comparing that to junk food. Like, that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, the dog's in the corner just gave me a very cute look. Anywho, so I might get distracted a little bit. I can't look at you over there, buddy. I need to focus on this.
You're too cute.
Yes. Anywho, and you can also probably hear her panting over there. Anywho, so yeah, this film, we mentioned it's cheap, so we got to bring this up. This entire movie feels like it's being shot on a video cassette tape recorder. Mm-hmm. Like, it feels like they did not go into an editing booth and put in like a little, even like a mini DV cam, which I guess at the time mini DV cams were like the standard go-to. It feels like they just popped this thing out there and was like, here it is, there's your dailies.
It's like, so grainy.
It's very grainy. It is insanely grainy, except for 2 random shots of hands, which I guess that had to be a reshoot, and they were like, hold on, I know some guy who actually has a good camera we can use for the day. Because suddenly there's like 2 shots of hands late into this film where suddenly the quality goes through the roof. No graininess, incredibly crisp and clean. And I have been pondering that I can barely find any information on this film. Like I said, I've looked at the IMDb page. Only one character has a name on there. Everybody else just has the actor names. I know that Joe Bob Briggs did do an episode of The Last Drive-In on this, and I wish I had had time to watch that before this to get some kind of info. But I got a weird feeling maybe he even doesn't know anything about this.
Yeah, like, I remember you asking if I want to watch his version or just watch it straight, and it's like...
Oh, no, that was for Spookies.
Oh, yes.
Because that's one of those ones where like, you just gotta know the behind the scenes on this one. Yeah, it's you can't, if you watch Spookies by itself, it sucks ass. You watch Spookies knowing what happened behind the scenes, like, oh, this is fascinating. This is interesting. So yeah, I might watch that Joe Bob Briggs episode sometime after this. But yeah, so first off, film quality, insanely grainy. You can tell they only had one camera. And secondly, they are filming on location in this house. This is a tiny, tiny house Like, there are some bizarre camera angles in here, not because they were trying to get, like, weird and artsy with it. No. I mean bizarre as in that is literally the only place in this hallway they could put the camera. Like, there will be moments in which they're getting into, like, a fight, and the camera's just, like that up to their face, because they are like, we literally can't fit 2 people and a camera in here. We're gonna try and make this work. Yeah, it is really impressive, just the fact that they tried this, and I gotta give them credit on that. Like, I have mentioned this several times. The first Evil Dead is my favorite horror film of all time. And it's not just because of, like, the plot and anything in there. It's because you can feel the homegrown guerrilla film work in there. You can feel these were a couple of college kids who had just dropped out because they wanted to make a movie, and they didn't know how to do this, so they had to figure it out on the fly. And I find that so interesting. Yeah, same thing here.
Very much so.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, this was a film that was made by somebody who just really liked the Evil Dead and said, I gotta do that. I want to do that. Get your buddies who can kind of act. You have a friend who's a bodybuilder, right? Well, kind of, yeah. Yeah, get him in there. Yeah, he can probably memorize some lines. And we'll say this is all in Japanese, and, there's no, like, dub or anything for this. I'm only bringing that up because the acting seems fine to me. But again, it's in a foreign language, so I can't fully tell.
Right.
Yeah. I know there are people out there who's like, no, you can totally tell if a foreign language film has good acting or bad acting. It's like, if it's extreme, like if it's very bad or very good, sure. But there's that middle area where it's like, I don't honestly know. Like, certain inflections, and they put in the right emphasis on the right word. If you don't speak the language, yeah, it's kind of hard. Were you about to say something?
I was going to say, like, this really feels like a home video, like,
yeah, it does.
like a bunch of middle schoolers want to make a horror movie, and they borrow their dad's camera or something that.
Yeah.
It very much has that vibe to it, and I really love it.
It absolutely does. Like I said, this has that feeling of you and your buddies saw Evil Dead, and you just said, I like that, we can do that, let's do it. Because they don't just fight off the possessed psychic in here. They even follow the Evil Dead rules of you gotta dismember the entire body. Like, there's that scene in Evil Dead 2 where the disembodied head of the professor suddenly appears and explains the plot. Same thing here with the dad, except that's on TV. And again, man, they went in on that. Like, you could tell they had no money for effects on that, but they tried to do something interesting with how the head appeared on the TV. It's like, all right, I'm giving you credit on this. You guys tried, and I respect the hell out of that.
Good use of television.
Yeah. And also, I really like our protagonist. Again, it's a shame I don't remember his name, but him and the photographer lady. In fact, I also like the psychic, but I mean, he becomes possessed fairly early on. But I like the contrast between all 3 of them. Like, you get the sense pretty early on that the bodybuilder guy is you're very laid back, no real worries about anything. The photographer lady, she's got a little bit of a Lois Lane thing going on, where it's like, no, I'm professional about this. I want to get the scoop. But also, she's got some spunk to her. She's got a little bit of attitude. I like that. And then the psychic guy is just very bland.
Dead serious.
Doesn't have any sense of humor about anything. It's like, yeah, that's a pretty good trio right there. See, I do screw up words. I told you. That's a pretty good trio right there. I'd follow a movie about those 3 characters. I will say, I do wish that the bodybuilder aspect played into this more.
Yeah, when you think bodybuilders is in the title, so you think there would be more emphasis on it.
And it really doesn't until the very end. At the very end, that's the main reason I'm bringing this up. At the very end, him being a bodybuilder is very important. But not really up until then. Up until then, the very first shot of him is him lifting weights. Then they mention how, okay, well, if this belonged to my dad, maybe I can turn this place into my personal gym. And that's kind of it.
Yeah.
That's it for the next 45 minutes. And I say 45 minutes because this movie's an hour. That's it. 1 hour, 3 minutes. That is the length of this film.
Perfect timing.
I was going to say, with everything that we've been having to watch and how much I've been having to work on editing stuff for the other channel, I appreciate that.
I was wondering, since we both came in blind to this movie, and just knowing the title, what did you assume this was about?
Oh, that's a very good question. Okay, well, I had seen the poster art for it.
I did not.
Okay, so you're a little bit more blind than me. And I had also heard people call this Japanese Evil Dead. So I assumed horror comedy-ish. I assumed like the cover has got the protag guy in like a tank top holding a shotgun. And I was like, okay, there's gonna be some action in there too. And also there's gonna be like demonic possessions just based on the poster. That's all I had. The moment this thing started and I saw the quality of the film, I went, oh, we're in for something here. What about you? What did you get?
Based on the title, I thought it would be like about like bunch of like gym rats getting possessed by demons.
Oh,
like
okay.
Maybe like their gym was built on like an ancient burial ground or something like that.
Oh, that's kind of a good idea.
Yeah, and like they possess the bodybuilders because like, oh, they're strong. They'd be easy to like they can like take out anything. Yeah. And I feel like the protagonist would have been like a scrawny little nerd who had to use his brain to outsmart the big buff guys.
I kind of like that idea.
Because like,
if nobody's made that film, that sounds like a good idea, honestly.
Yeah, because it's like, he would always get bullied by the bigger guys, but now it's his time to shine and everything.
I think that's actually a pretty fun idea for a film. We just gave it out there to the world. Whoever makes it first, you win.
Give me credit.
Yes. You have to give her credit, and you have to give her like a thank you credits, Michelle.
And give me like 20% of how much money you make over it.
You can't get the actors and writers don't get that. Producer credit. Give her producer credit. There you go. What was that joke when you want to give your assistant a raise but you can't afford it? You just give him a producer credit. Anywho, so yeah, this film. Again, it's pretty much just them fighting, and this film's short, so there's not even a ton to say. It's just them fighting off the second guy who becomes possessed. However, it's not just they put some gray makeup on him and he made a big creepy smile and then started attacking them. No, there comes the point in which they start like actually like chopping this dude up, and that's when the stop motion comes out.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's some crazy animation, and that is the what the fuck factor in all of this.
All the gore is also the what the fuck in here, because like they make no shame of like just cutting off heads and stuff like that, and they go full in on this. I mentioned that you can tell whoever made this was a big fan of Evil Dead, and I'm not just talking Evil Dead 2, also Evil Dead 1. You watch the stop motion gore in there and the very specific way that looked. It is so clear that was the inspiration in here. Mm-hmm. It is so obvious that they're like, I want to make it look like that. Because it is like that clay, slowly stop motion moving around effect.
There's like some animated parts that look like they were like two-dimensional. And it's like, it felt like the Monty Python animated segments.
Yes. So there are the stop motion bits with clay in there.
Yes.
But then there are moments where they need stuff to happen, like they need like a body to come to life. So it becomes clear that what they're using is a still shot of the spot where the body's supposed to be. And then they just have like, I don't know what exactly they did, but they then like, I guess had like the body in front of a green screen and they're just trying to like chop it up in the editing process so that I can like hide behind the desk and then still be in front of the part behind it. Like, okay, respect on that. But then it gets weirder because there are moments in there where it's just a frozen image and they need something moving in the frozen image. So it is a frozen image. It is a still frame. And then just an image of a hand, and they're just like, it's literally what I could do in Photoshop. No, not Photoshop, but like Adobe Premiere and what my editing program. Because I don't know how to animate. I don't know how to do special effects. This is that level where it's just like, okay, I'm going to take the PNG of a hand and the still shot here. I'm just going to say, starting position here, and then ending position here. Go back to play. Perfect. Roll.
Yeah, except this was made before effects, After Effects and Photoshop and Adobe and all that. So
I don't have the excuse. They have an excuse. Yes. But man, again, it's one of those things in which I watch this. I'm just thinking like, man, how many times back in college did I say, I'd love to make this movie, but I don't know how to do this thing. These people didn't know how to do it either, and they did it anyways. I respect the hell out of that. But, and for all the people out there who are still like, well, just because it had that like similar claymation thing, like that doesn't necessarily mean like this was just totally inspired by Evil Dead. It's kind of wrong that everybody just calls this Japanese Evil Dead. Oh my God. Then we get to the second half of the movie. The second half of the movie, they go down to the basement and they find a gun, and the montage of them, like, it's just the way that they shoot it too.
Right.
Just the way they shoot it has that like connect like this to this to this to this. That is similar of how it was shot in Evil Dead. And this is before that, and they were shooting stuff like that before we even got to that moment. The dog's here, by the way, in case you hear panting. Yeah, you can kind of see her nose barely right there. So they were shooting it like that even before we got to the basement scene. And the entire time I was like, this feels like how they shoot Evil Dead. It feels like it so much. This dude was totally inspired by Sam Raimi. And there's moments in there which you're like, I know where we need to go. And I was like, say workshed, say workshed, say workshed, and do a poor job of dubbing it in. Oh my God, do that. It's better. It's better. I'm not even saving this for the spoiler part, but this got like an applause, a genuine applause out of me. They go into the basement where they find a gun, like a big ass shotgun that can apparently hold infinite ammo. And they go down there, find the shotgun, and like there's the montage of him like grabbing it, like cocking it, like getting everything in there, and then he just holds up, groovy.
In English.
In English, yeah. That's why it's like it's not Bruce Campbell's groovy. Like, he is trying to do, like, God bless the dude. But yes, it zooms in on him as he's holding the shotgun. Groovy. And I started applauding, like, yes! Oh my God, I love it. This is literally just Evil Dead in Japan. It's so good. I love it. It's great. And there's so many, like, just little... And then after that, after he gets the gun and he comes back up, it is a different film. It literally transitions from Evil Dead 1 in the first half to Evil Dead 2 in the second half. Because when it gets to the second half, now there's slapstick comedy all over the place. There's a moment in which he's getting attacked by a disembodied foot, and it just cuts him. And it's like, oh my God, this dude studied Bruce Campbell. This dude studied Bruce Campbell and the Three Stooges. They know what's up. They know, like, it's just, this is a pure love letter to the Evil Dead franchise. Like, no, it earned the title. Like, that is not horror fans just being like, well, I'm just going to call it the thing that I like to make it seem more like my thing. Like, no, that is said out of love. Because you watch this and you're like, you know the guy who made this film would take that as a huge compliment.
Yes, there is a huge difference between, like, a tribute and a ripoff.
Yes,
This is not a ripoff.
This is a tribute. Yes, absolutely, 100%. This is not, I stole this person's idea. They're like, no, I'm telling you to your face what I'm doing here. And this is a salute, what this film is, and I love it. I honestly think they should sell this film in Evil Dead box sets. Except I don't think you can get Evil Dead box sets anymore because every single film is owned by...
Bruce Campbell should do the English dub.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. You know that guy would lose his mind. And then get the actor from here to do the Japanese dub of the Evil Dead films. Oh my God, it would be so good. Do you know, man, you can imagine the tears of joy this filmmaker would have if he found out Bruce Campbell was doing the English dub of this. It would be so good. And I gotta say, like, we've been complimenting, like, you know, the bodybuilder guy himself in here. The photographer, I really like her too. She's not really doing a whole lot in the first half, but once it gets to the goofier part here, like, she's kicking ass too. There's a great part in which they have the disembodied head of the guy, and it's like, you're all going to die here, you're all going to die here. And then she just walks up, casually grabs it, and then flips it down so he's face down. And then she turns on, she's now like all business. That's why I said, like, she's got this Lois Lane vibe to her. Like, I don't give a shit about all these monsters and stuff. Fuck this. What are we doing about this? How do we solve this? I like that. I think it's a pretty good character. She might be the best female character in an Evil Dead film. Once you get to the shows. Then when you get to the shows, there's better ones. But, yeah, I seriously, like, if it weren't for the fact that I don't think you can sell Evil Dead box sets anymore simply because every single one of those films is owned by a different studio, yeah, this should absolutely be included in Evil Dead box sets. This film is so insanely fun. Like, it's full of those what the fuck moments, but a lot of them aren't like, but man, you want to talk about a film that checks out that second box of there's passion because they are reaching beyond the boundary that their budget gives them. This film knows it can't do anything and it still tries its ass off, and I respect it so much. And like I said, it's only an hour, and yet it's just an hour. Like they hit that house at like the 10-minute mark, and then it's 15 minutes of pure joy. It's just fun. This film is great. This film, hey buddy. The only thing that I will say is that for like the fact that this guy is supposed to be like focused on like bodybuilding, he should have brought that up like 3 more times in this film.
Yeah.
Like, it is not brought up nearly enough. But it comes back at the end and it's actually great.
Just rename it Japanese Evil Dead or something like that.
Like I said, that's what fans have called it, yeah. But yeah, so anything else you want to say before we do spoiler talk?
Not really.
I only really got one thing to say about spoiler talk in here, which is that at the end, he gets his ass kicked, gets thrown down into the cellar again, which I feel like that, again, has to be a reference to Bruce being thrown into the cellar in Evil Dead 2. And the spirit of his dad told him the thing that you need is down there. And they thought it was the gun. He rolls down there again after the gun failed to beat him up. And then he sees all these weights over in the corner. He goes, that's it. It's my muscles. And then he starts flexing and he just rips his shirt off from flexing. And again, you can almost tell that, like, I don't know if this was even in the script or if they just knew some guy who was a bodybuilder. And he's not even like a huge bodybuilder. He's like a realistic bodybuilder.
No steroids. Like,
yeah, well, not even that, but like it's possible to build yourself to be really swole. But those are cosmetic muscles,
right.
Is what they are.
Yeah.
Is that like most like actual like bodybuilders will tell you, like, no, there is a difference between like typically the guy who is skinnier than us is stronger than us because we work out to look huge. They work out to actually do shit and use muscles. Yeah, like this guy, like he looks like an actual genuine bodybuilder. Right. Like, no, he works out to like be able to move shit. Mm-hmm. I just wish that came up a little bit more in the plot before this. But then when he sees that, he flexes, rips his shirt off, and then he just reappears and he's got all these dumbbells and weights attached to himself like they're weapons. And he starts fighting the monsters with dumbbells. I'm like, all right, I've been saying you're like, we've been saying this entire thing is just a tribute to Evil Dead. This is when you become your own thing. Congratulations, you are now a real boy. It is so over the top. This
is your twist on a classic story.
Yes, I appreciate it, man. It is so freaking good. Like, this might be, like, we're on what, like, day 25 of Thorgiween now? This might be the most I have smiled watching a film this entire month long. Granted, it helps it's only an hour long, so didn't have to worry about, like, stretching it out or anything, but it's like, yeah, man, this just felt good. This film just was fun. Like I said, it's on Shudder, but I also think it's on YouTube as well, so, watch it through the official means if you can, but if you can, like I said, I don't think it's going to be that hard to find this thing. This is one of those fan favorites, and I don't even think, like, they, like, worry that much about other people watching this. Oh, man. Yeah, great film. Love the hell out of this thing. But anything else that you want to say?
Nope.
Okay. So, come back tomorrow.
Wait, what would you rate this?
Man, it's so weird. Like, it's another one of those things that's kind of like Toxic Avenger, where if I'm talking about my pure enjoyment, I'm giving this thing an A. I just had fun with this. This was great. But if I'm talking about pure quality of this thing, I mean, if we're being objective on here, like pure quality, it's like it's low. But I feel like I have to give this a B, again, just out of principle. Like with Toxic Avenger, it feels like it'd be insulting to give it anything other than a B, because that's so what it's going for. But yeah, if we're talking pure enjoyment, I'm giving it an A. I had so much fun.
Oh, there is like one thing that at the end, we're like, the guy and the girl, they defeated the evil, they leave the house, but then the shutter opens, and that's when you see the giant face that was in the original photo. Man,
there is just something about Japan ghosts having giant faces, because I know there's another whole series out there. Anybody who's a fan of Mr. Gigi on YouTube, he's like reviewed the entire series. I don't remember the name of it, but if you look at Mr. Gigi, you'll eventually see this. It's like just some giant floating head monster. It's like the scary, realistic version of Pac-Man, because it's just a giant head that just after people. So yeah, there's just something about, like, there's gotta be some famous giant-headed ghost in Japan. Then again, there's like, man, Japan is loaded with ghosts. Like, that is like everywhere there's a ghost of something.
Yeah, it's like they have their own like separate like type of ghost, like yokai,
Yeah.
basically. So.
Yeah, where it's literally just spirits that are everything. So yeah, like that's not one of those things. We talked about this during International Horror Week, but it's like, yeah, every single culture has like their own specific things that they find to be frightening, but are also just part of their culture. It's like with Japan, it's ghost, it's everywhere. So there you go. Come back tomorrow for a film that you actually picked out.
Yes.
Do you want to say what it is?
Sleepaway Camp.
Good enough.
Yeah, I don't.
It's the first time you've done. You'll get used to it. Anyway.
Gee, I don't know. I think I kind of slept on that one or
Okay, we're cutting now. Bye, everybody.
Bye.